Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today we are going to be fixing up part of the city here. And so in a recent video, we had gone ahead and swapped the Natural History Museum and the Botanical Garden with the hotel and the police station. And so now we have this really cool area over here, which we did also work on recently. And I have a couple more ideas for that, but if we have time in this video, I'll come back and we'll do some stuff with this. But my main focus is actually going to be over here because I really don't want to be looking at the exposed table. And so my tentative plan for all of that is to also take out this 48 by 48 base plate as well, because the Botanical Garden is currently sitting on it. So we need to fix that up, and then we also can take this base plate and then put it over here with these buildings here. So with that, there's a lot to do, and so with that, we are just going to get started on it right now. All right, so step one is to remove the Botanical Garden and its other pieces, which I did here. As you can see, these 8 by 64 segments here. And then, so now I'm going to take this 48 by 48 and swap it with a 32 by 32 and a 16 by 32. And then we can take this 48 by 48 and put it over here. So that is going to be all good to go. So this should, in theory, be a pretty simple fix. And then we can just take the train track and kind of surgically take it off of this and put it on the other base plate. So hopefully this goes pretty well, but I'll show you guys what this looks like once it's done. All right, so I went ahead and I took the Botanical Garden out, and I also took out that base plate, and then I replaced it with a 16 by 32 and then a 32 by 32. And don't worry, this blue is going to get covered up. I have these extra 16 by 32 base plates here, these Mills plates that used to be in front of the museum. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to take these plates and then stick them right here. And then we'll also grab one more and put one there. And then we can blend all of this in. I don't know if this is going to be a retaining wall like these masonry bricks here, or if we're going to kind of just use slopes and stuff like that. I think I'm leaning towards slopes, at least for this section here. And then we're going to have to modify this section here, but I'm not worried about that. I'm focusing on this right now and also the bigger picture. We can do the details either later in this video or in a future one. So with that, I think I'm just going to get back to work, and then we can kind of take it from there. And then I'm going to do this first, I think, and then take the boutique hotel off of the roof here. And then we can go ahead, we can fix up this area, and then hopefully this is going to start to look a lot better. All right, so I've been pretty busy here, and so as you can see, this whole area is starting to take shape again. And so what I did was I put a 48 by 48 here, and then I put a second one there. And then for this one, all I really did was I just took a bunch of brick, like you can see here, and then the boutique hotel is sitting on top of it. That way, I don't have to redo the Mills or the base plate and then make it on a Mills plate, and then I need all these weird base plate sizes. This just makes it a lot easier, and then I can just Mills plate out front and then kind of take it from there. So that is pretty much that. And then I did end up putting the 16 by 32 kind of open space over here. I was gonna just make it 8 studs originally, but then the seam of the base plate just kind of worked out a little bit better here, so I think I'm gonna roll with that and then put an 8 stud wide building here, then the fire brigade, and then another 8 studs, and then the police station, and then so on. So that's kind of my thought process with it. It's going to look kind of symmetrical when you're looking that way, but I think it'll be fine. We could also move that stuff down more, so I'm not super worried about it. I think it'll be all right. And then, like I said, this is 16 studs over here as well, so we have some room to work with. We could make this symmetrical and so have this over there. I don't know how that would look. I mean, we could try it and kind of see how it looks. But over here, what I'm doing is I'm essentially kind of doing a mix. So this whole base plate here, this 32 by 32 with the hotel, and then this 16 by 32 here is just base plates sitting on the bricks. But this here, these 8 studs here, the width, I mean, the 8 stud width here, 8 stud width there, that's all regular Mills plate. And then in the middle, I'm just going to have the fire brigade kind of sit on top. And then that way, if I ever want to move it onto a different Mills plate system, then that's pretty easy to do. So that just makes the most sense to me. And then with that over here, as you can see, I just need a couple more bricks out front here, and then we can just Mills plate all of that in, and then we can finish this side and that side, and then the base plate's just going to sit there like you saw. So that's pretty much it. And then I do want to grab some light gray plate to put here. I think that would look a little bit better than dark gray, just so this is light gray, and then that's light gray. I don't know if I I don't have any extra light gray base plates at the moment, so the Fire Brigade is tentatively going to go on this. But it's not the end of the world. I could always make that work. So that's just pretty much where I'm at and kind of my thought process with everything. So I'm going to get back to work, and hopefully in the next clip this will be done. But I don't really have that many odd colored bricks left, so hopefully I can find enough to finish this. And so now this area is totally done. So we have the mills plate along like a U shape here, and then in the middle we have this base plate right here. So that's all good, and everything is structurally sound. So that's all good. And then I also added a 16x32 mills plate in front of the police station. That might get changed into a little parking spot for a police car, but I don't really have the pieces to do that because I got all of these 1x6 bricks on the Pick-a-Brick wall a while ago, maybe like a month or two ago at this point, and I used pretty much all of them for this. And I also, whatever I didn't use, well, I think I did the angled road first, and then whatever I didn't use, I used in here. So that's that. I can't really do much else with it, but in the future, I would like to add a parking spot there, ideally 2, maybe on an angle. I think that could be pretty interesting, but that's just an idea. And then coming over this way, you'll notice that I didn't do the mills plate yet, but I do have some 16x16s that we can throw in here, and then that is going to be all good to go. So with that, I'm going to get back to work, and then I want to come back over here and then start to map out this area here, because looking at this, especially when you walk in the room, doesn't look all that great. All right, so I've gone ahead and I have fixed up this mills plate right over here. So now that's all good to go. And I know these colors are probably never going to be seen again, but I wanted to just put the green in there. I have a few medium nougat ones laying around, the 16x16 plates, I mean. But I wanted to put the green ones in just in case I wanted to do some foliage, like over here, or possibly even kind of like that over there. So I want that option, and in worst case, I can always just rip this up and put the medium nougat ones in if I need the green somewhere else. So not super worried about it, and plus they're 16x16s, it'll take 5 seconds to rip them up. And also one other thing, this building here is just temporarily here. This was always just intended to be a filler building, just because I never liked the look of this side of the boutique hotel here. So this is all that it ever really was, but I'm going to be parting this out in the near future. As you can see, I just have a bunch of random stuff in here just to fill up the wall. And then this is going to become an 8-stud wide modular building here on these mills plates right here. And then I'm going to do a similar building on the other side there. So don't worry, this will not be staying. This is just a temporary thing. And then once we get the fire brigade in and we get these in, then I think this whole area is going to really start to come together. And then coming over this way, I forgot one critical detail about the little retaining walls here in the dark orange and the dark bluish gray. I am completely out of dark orange masonry brick. So these, I think it was these 2 were the only 2 that I had remaining. So I just put them there, and then that is pretty much that. So I can't really finish this quite yet, but I do hope to go ahead and get this fixed up soon. I'm sure my local Lego store might have them on the Pick-a-Brick wall occasionally. I just have to kind of keep an eye on that. So I'm gonna try and figure that out in the near future, but that's totally fine. And then this green space here is pretty simple. It's just some plate, and then I also added in a little wedge plate, and I just need a left wedge for the green as well, but I only have the right because I bought the rights for that one. So I need some more lefts, so I just have to order that as well. And then this is looking pretty good, and then that is pretty much that. And then my idea for this here was to put green slopes and things like that throughout here, but I only have one of these 2x2 slopes. I could do this whole thing in dark gray just to kind of help match this, so then it has rocks coming up from the ocean, and then the train tracks cut through, and then a little bit more rock at the top. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I think that could work. I think that could work pretty good, but I'm not sure if it'd be too much gray. So that's something that I need to test, but this is where we're going to stop for today's video, just because I have a lot of other things up in the air, like not being able to finish all these different projects here. And so even if I do want to do this in green, I need to order pieces for that as well. So with that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe, as well as click the bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads. If you guys have any feedback for me on this area in general, make sure to drop your comments down below to let me know what you think. But once again, seriously, thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye for now.